Hello, everyone, and welcome to our the Expat Career and Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and today I have a very special guest with me, Ludmila Woodruff. She's a life and relationship coach for professional women who want to thrive in their motherhood, marriage, and career. She's also a certified life and weight loss coach. Ludmila speaks 4 languages and she works with clients from all over the world. So welcome, Ludmila.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. So thank you for accepting the invitation. So tell us more about you, how your international journey started and what are you doing exactly? Tell us more.
So I was raised and born in Poland, and at the age of 19, when you need to decide exactly what to do with your life, I really had no clue. So I found myself with lots of questions, and I really had no answers. What do I want to do exactly with my life and which career to pursue? I was thinking about languages. We had a lot of investments from Holland at that time. We have a lot of international companies coming in. So I was thinking I can go and study Dutch. And before going to school and applying to college, my mom found an advertisement for an au pair position in Belgium. And we thought it might be a great idea to go travel for a year and spend a year abroad, learn the language, and then come back home and apply to college and study Dutch philology. And as you can see and imagine, I've left Poland 20 years ago and I never came back. It was not really planned, but this is what happened.
This is like a similar experience to mine. I also left Poland at 19 years old for 1 year. This was my intention, and then I have never came back.
Yeah, that I think it happens to a lot of us.
People,
some people do come back, and some realize that they can create something completely different for themselves abroad.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what was your challenge, like the biggest challenge or obstacle to overcome while having this international experience?
So the first year when I was working for a family with 3 small children, I was living close to Antwerp in Belgium. I was lucky that the parents spoke English. A lot of people in Belgium do speak English fluently, but the children spoke only Dutch. So the first challenge for me was to, communicate with them. And I'm supposed to take care of 3 kids, and I didn't speak the language. So very soon I understood I want to be able to understand and communicate, and I signed up for Dutch classes. They were not very, there were classes once a week, because I understood the challenge if I want to be successful at what I'm doing with this family. And that was my idea for a year, to really do my job well. At the age of 19, I need to be able to communicate with the children because they did not understand English. The second challenge during this first year was, I would call it maybe a culture shock. We're coming from Eastern Europe with a different way of upbringing, coming into Western Europe, where the history and culture is different. The way the children were raised there and in Poland was very different. And so I had to navigate that also in a foreign language and understand what was expected, what was normal for the culture there, and adjust. So as a 19-year-old, I think there was a lot of excitement in the first year, but there was also a lot of stress. How can I really do it well? How can I make it a success for myself and for the family during this first year? And I really had to learn very fast. What do I need to do? What do I have to improve on? Ask for help, ask for feedback, and it was challenging. And when I arrived to Belgium, I did speak English, but I don't know if you remember the way they were teaching English in Poland 20 years ago. it was not much speaking, but just reading and learning all the rules of grammar. So I was great at knowing all the rules, but my speaking was very poor, I would say. I felt insecure about speaking English. So also very quickly I realized the more I speak, no matter how many mistakes I make, no matter how my pronunciation sounds like, I just need to dive in, because that's the only way I will be able to communicate and make any friends. It felt lonely for few first months, because I arrived and I stayed with the family, and they were very, very kind people. But I arrived in a country where I didn't know anybody besides them. So practicing the language, learning and navigating through the cultural differences, adjusting myself to living with people that I really don't know, and making the best that I could make of this. But there were a lot of challenges in the first year. And I think just deciding that I will figure it out no matter what was very helpful, because there were many moments when I felt I really wanted to go home. Not because there was something wrong with the family, but because there were a lot of things that were just very different for me.
Yeah. So you overcame those challenges because you stayed in Belgium for how many years did you?
I stayed there for 15 years.
15 years. Yeah. So well done. Yeah. So you adjusted and you adapted to the Belgium culture and way of living. And then after 15 years, you changed your life again completely. You moved to the US from Belgium.
Yes. So when after the first year in Belgium, I realized with the help of the family that I could study Dutch in Belgium. Why would I move back to Poland if I want to study this language? What the better place than where they speak the language? And so I took courses and became fluent in Dutch and applied to college. I studied translation. And when I graduated and went to work, I met my American husband. And he was there for 9 years in Belgium. He really loved also the international flavor. But at some point, we needed to decide if we stay there or we move to US. And I had no clue and no idea how life in US looks like. Now I'm married to an American with one child. Our son was 3 years old when we moved. And we thought it will be a good idea for me and for the family move to US, and I could learn how the everyday life looks like here. It would be great also for our son to be around his native language. And one of the reasons that we moved for was my husband's parents, because they were having some health issues. And so we ended up in California for the first 4 years. And that was another adjustment. I think every time you move to another culture, you have to just know that the first year when you move is the year of huge excitements and lots of new things that you want to explore. And there are also a lot of moments of doubt, feeling homesick. And I would say around 6 months in the first year, you can expect the feeling of, I want to go back home, whatever that means for you. So just understanding that and knowing that this is normal and nothing is going wrong was very helpful for me, because I think a lot of people get really hopeless around 6 months. You know, you go to the store and then you can't find the ketchup, or you can't find whatever you are looking for, and you know where you could find it in your home country or whatever the last country was where you lived. And those small things over time can really make you feel like this is not where you want to be. So the awareness and having the previous experience of what it means to move and change cultures was very helpful for me. And I already spoke the language, so that was a plus.
Wonderful. So I think that it's because you moved as a mom, and it's not easy to be a mom, and it's not, I think it can be even harder when you are moving with a child, or you are growing up your child abroad, because you can, like many moms or like many families, they can feel like overwhelmed, lost, because you are in a new country, you are in a new culture, and you have to take care of your family, and you have to take care of yourself also. So how to like be not overwhelmed with all those tasks all those responsibilities, the stress and anxiety that you can also experience, and like enjoy this international life?
Well, I think it is very important to be prepared. When we decided we will move to US, first thing I did was to look up the schools in the town where we were moving to, and doing my research. So I think planning ahead of time and planning for what you want to create is the one thing I advise everybody to do. Even if you have 2 weeks before you move, I advise you, because that's what was helpful to me, I advise you to research the place you are moving to, look for what is interesting to you. So for me, I was looking for schools, and not only regular schools. I was looking for schools that were Montessori or smaller daycares. My son was 3 years old when we were moving. I knew we don't want him in one of those big daycares that have 100 kids. So I think you need to be very clear and know what you value, what you desire to create, and what your child needs. So we knew what our child needs. He needs a lot of movement. He needs to be in a play-based daycare, not a lot of sitting. And so I did my research before we left. And of course, you can't prepare yourself for everything, but you can prepare yourself enough to know what to look for and which places to go and visit. So that was the first thing. We also decided what kind of house we want to be living in. Do we want a swimming pool or not? How much space we need? Which neighborhoods could be beneficial for a family with a small child? And if you have any help from international company that is moving you, I would really ask them those questions and ask for help. I think asking for help and being prepared are two things that will help you with the feeling of overwhelm. And I think we all think that overwhelm just happens to us because of all the things we need to manage, but overwhelm is a feeling. If we look at the coaching perspective, is a feeling we create with the way we decide to think about things. If I would decide that moving abroad is really difficult and it's challenging and there are so many things to do, and how will I manage on my own without family, and how will I make friends, I will feel very, very overwhelmed. I will feel frustrated and hopeless. So it's very important to manage your mind and really challenging yourself. How do I want to feel in this new place? What do I need to feel supported? How can I talk to my partner, and how can we make clear decisions on what would be beneficial for us? Also, if you enjoy going to theater or participating in yoga classes, whatever that is that you are doing right now where you live, find those activities in the place where you are moving to. Because if this is supportive of you in a place where you live, it will be supportive to you in a new place. Yes, it will be different. Yes, it will be, something else than you expect, of course. But I think getting somewhere, getting situated, and already knowing this is where I can take yoga classes, this is where I maybe can go have a lunch, this is maybe international group of people I can connect with, it's very helpful. Because when you arrive somewhere and you have no idea where to go, where are the places where you can connect with people, if you don't know if you want to connect with people, you can become very isolated. And pretty fast, if you are not surrounded by family and your partner is going to work and you are the one staying home, it can be slippery slope to a depression or complete identity crisis. And it's very hard to pull yourself out of there if you don't have a plan. So I would say plan, have a right mindset and a right perspective of the life you want to create, and know yourself, know your family, your values, and what you want for your child. Because I think we looked at 3 schools. We tried one. For 2 months, it was going okay, I would say. We were not very happy. And then after 2 months, we knew we have to change. And I just followed my research. And after 2 months, we changed our son to another school, and it was perfect for him. And by the time he was situated in school, everything was going more smoothly. I started to go to exercise classes, and that's how I started to reach out and get to know more people. And you build your life with small just small steps you are taking in actions, but you have to have a right mindset of what you want to create.
Yeah, so talking like about the right mindsets, I often like hear from like many international women or expat women who are like thinking about changing their careers or starting something on the side, or finally starting their business, or maybe they are moms or they are busy with their careers, but they want to pursue a new path, that they don't have the time, or they are busy. So what to do with that?
Well, I would say, first of all, if you say you don't have time, why are you blaming time for not pursuing your goals? First of all. Second of all, time is a mental construct. So somebody somewhere decide this is what a day looks like. 1 hour is 60 minutes, minute is 60 seconds. And we make time, we decide what we do with the time. So you have to get very, very clear, first of all, why do you want to pursue a career, or why do you want to create a business, right? If you really want something, you will find a way to do it. And I think it is such a disservice to yourself and your family if you keep blaming your family for not doing what you want to do in your life. So if you feel overwhelmed right now and you feel you are too busy, it means you are not managing your mind. And if you don't manage your mind, then you don't manage your time. 100%. Because you don't have to manage time. Time just is, right? We are in this moment right now. I don't have to manage the time. I have to manage my mind. If I say it will take me 1 hour to record the podcast and I go to 1 hour and a half, I did not manage my mind to say, this is how long it takes, this is how it will look like. So you need to get very, very clear. First of all, why do I want to work? If you think that the work will make you happy because you are not happy right now, it's a wrong answer. You can be satisfied and fulfilled in every moment of your life if you want to pursue career, because you will develop more skills, you will create something, you will earn money, and that will give more possibilities to your family, or whatever that is. Do it for the right reasons. And if you have the right why behind that, like for me, I want to impact women. I want women feel amazing in their lives. I want the mothers to know that they can still be successful in their careers, in their marriage, and their motherhood. That's what I did for myself with coaching, and I know how impactful that is. That's my why. It makes me happy to help women. That's why I will make sure I will manage my mind and I will manage my calendar. So I know exactly what the steps are I need to take. So if I could advise something, is plan. So if you look at the career you want to pursue or create a business, how does this business look like? Or what does this career look like? What do I need to do? And how do I need to think to make sure I use all the time I have during the day, right? And we all have the same amount of time, but how do I use my mind to make the most out of the time I have? What are the exact steps I need to follow? And put it on your calendar. So put on the calendar, when are you working? When are you doing the research about the business or the career? How much time are you spending on it every day? How much time are you spending on your family? And really have it planned hour by hour. And if it's a bigger project of creating a business, if you look at the end goal, this is the business. Let's say I'm running a coaching business and I'm making 70,000 or 100,000 of whatever you want to make. How does it look like? And then reverse engineer that. And then if you reverse engineer, what do I need to do in the month of January? What do I need to do in the month of February to have the result and the end goal of the business and salary and earnings by December? And it's really breaking it down, deciding how much time every task will take, planning even your free time, So let's say if I want to have time with the family, I want to watch a movie with my husband, everything is on your calendar. So if I would call you tomorrow and I see your calendar, on your calendar at 2 p.m., you are writing your blog, and I call you at 2, I know you are not going to pick up because you are writing your blog. This is how organized you have to be with your mind and with your time, because you cannot create more time.
So like, what would you advise like to a woman who doesn't like planning?
Well, I would ask her, how is it working out for you? Right? Because if you don't plan, how do you even know what your priorities are? I don't know if you have anybody that comes with idea of I don't like to plan. Because I used to be very go with the flow person before having kids. You know, I like to have, let's say, the free time to do what I want. But what I realized after having children is that if I don't plan, then I don't have a lot of free time. Because what happens is I will use all the time during the day. I will use it somehow. But then at the end of the day, I look back and I used it all on the things that don't really matter to me. It's so easy to get distracted by notifications, by social media, by, you know, there are many things you can do in a house or outside of the house, meet with the girlfriends, cook the dinner, whatever that is, you will find things to do. But then at the end of the day, if this is not what you want to do with your life, then you need to ask yourself, what is a better way to approach that? I know there are a lot of people that say, I don't want to plan. But what I find is with the planning, you can enjoy your free time so much more. Because, you know, I've accomplished A, B, C, and D on my list. So now I have the free time. What happens for a lot of people that don't plan is I'm doing whatever I'm doing during the day. Let's say they will do 50% of what they really want to do. And when it's time to relax, they are still stressing out about all the other things that need to happen. So as long as you don't have a clear vision of the tasks that you need to complete, and not even the completing the task, but what is it that you are finishing and working on, and when is it finished? Because I can be cooking all day, or I can be working on the blog post for 2 weeks if I give myself that time, right? But is this what is going to create the business I want and the earnings that I want, or career that I want, right? You can give yourself 1 month to write your resume.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, I agree with that. It's important like to plan, to have a vision, and it doesn't have to be like a long plan for a day. You don't have to have like 10 things to do. It's like focusing on the most important steps that can take you like closer to your vision. And like another like objection or fear that I hear like from international women or women who are thinking about changing their careers or working on their businesses is this fear of failure, that what is going to happen if this idea or if this vision is not going to work, or like comparing yourself to other successful women and like feeling that you are not good enough. So like what to do with that? What to do with this like beliefs that we can have?
Well, I would start with the comparing. Like compare and despair, I would call it. First of all, why are we comparing to other women? We are not living their lives. Like, what do you really want? I think the moment you know and realize who you are, what matters to you, you can focus on your own vision. I can look at other women in coaching, but I have no clue what their values are, what their priorities are. And it even doesn't matter because I'm not living their lives. I can aspire to somebody by saying, I aspire to create a successful business, an impactful business, and I aspire to work with so many women and making so much money and impact. But I would never compare myself to another person and thinking, I wish I lived her life, because I even don't know how her life looks like, and I am not living her life. So not being good enough comes back really to knowing yourself. Who am I? What matters to me, no matter what other people around me are doing? So you need to have some time with yourself. And what I find a lot of moms and working moms they say, I don't have time to sit with myself for 5-10 minutes to even know what I want. If you don't have 10 minutes to sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I really, really want if everything is possible, then you really have a problem with managing your mind.
Mm.
So becoming as clear as possible on who am I, what matters to me, if everything is possible, what do I want to create in my life, and not looking at other women and thinking, I wished I lived her life. I wished I could be her. We have no idea. And we have one life to live. And I think as mothers, we are the role models to our children, that everything is always possible, that us just showing up for ourselves is just an amazing experience. So I would start with that, really asking yourself questions that would support you in discovering, who am I right now? Who am I? How was I raised with which beliefs? Are they still serving me? Do I want to believe that other people have a better life, that I'm not capable, that I'm not good enough if my life doesn't look like somebody else? What is the life that I want, and how do I create it? And how do I feel in my life? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel excited and passionate? And what do I do on daily basis that helps me wake up and feel, wow, it's amazing. I have another day of living my life. So that's the one answer for the compare and despair.
Mm.
Second answer about the failure. I just think we need to accept that the failure is a part of life, and I would never call it a failure. I always call it lessons that I needed to learn. When I look at my 20 years moving around Europe and then being in US, and I think about my 20-year-old self, I have so much compassion for myself. I did a lot of, crazy things, meaning not crazy like illegal, but some things that I would never do again. But at that time, at that age, I thought, this is what I want to do, and this is what I think is smart thing to do. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would have not become the person I am right now. So for me, the failures or the lessons that I learned are just the part of life. Even if you don't try this career or you don't go for that job, you will have some other kind of failures that you will describe as failures in your life. So why don't you just go for what you want? You will always have challenges. You will always have to adapt in some way or the other. Life is never certain. And I think so many women wait for, making the decisions, and they think the life is in the way of my life. But that's what it is. It's life. So I don't think about things that didn't work for me as failures. I just think those were some hard lessons that I really needed to learn to grow and become emotionally, mentally, and physically healthy person. And I take them and then I decide, what did it teach me? Was it something valuable or not? What can I do with it? And I just don't stop. And I just go into action and making decisions. And some ideas work and some don't. And I change. For example, when we were in California, I decided, I found a very nice fitness studio. And I started to work out there when my son was 5 years old. And I was really out of shape. And this studio and the trainers, they really helped me. So I thought, oh, that's amazing. I will become a kettlebell trainer and I will teach women how to be more energetic through exercise, how to feel better and have more energy and just be more positive through exercise. And so I mentored with Dina Juve, who was competing for becoming the fitness star for the Women's Health magazine. And for a year, I was teaching at the studio. And then when we moved to Florida, I was still having one-on-one clients and I was training them. But I realized all the women that were coming to the studio, it's great to teach people physical resilience and fitness and activity. But what resonated more with me was really working on the emotional, mental aspect of women's well-being. And then I decided I'm shifting. I'm going to get certified in life and weight coaching. I will work with women on their relationships with themselves and their family members. And I don't look at the fitness part of my work as something went wrong or it's a failure. It's just something I tried. It was amazing in the time. And now I move on to something else, because now I know this is really what I want to do. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't try something else before. So go for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. So tell us, where can we find more information about you? And I also know that you have a gift for our listeners. So tell us more about that.
Yes, so you can find me on my social media, Ludmila Woodruff, on Facebook and Instagram. I'm also creating a website, so I will share the link with you. For my listeners of this podcast, I'm giving away 2 45-minute sessions. So for 2 lucky women that would love some support and with whatever challenge you have right now, with the move or parenting or career, I am gifting 2 sessions. So 2 listeners that reach out first to me will get on a phone call with me for 45 minutes and we will do some coaching. I really love this work. I think it's transformational, and this is my gift to 2 listeners that will reach out to us.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I will put all the links so people can go and connect with you and book the session. So thank you very much once again for being here with us today, Ludmila. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. When I look back at my expat experience, I love expats. I love that people take the chance and they're courageous enough to move around. I think it's amazing. I for sure believe it's shifting your identity. It's opening your mind so much. And I think it's a really great gift you can also give to your children and just to yourself. And if you have the opportunity, make the best out of it.
Great, great. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening or watching. Please tell us, what are your thoughts? What are your questions, doubts? Please share them in the comments, and I will be back soon with another fantastic episode. So thank you very much and goodbye.